a zombie virus begins to unleash terror on a secluded village in northern Quebec. No one knows how it started, but the first sign of the outbreak appears at a local racetrack. A driver is fooling around with a female staff member, and as they begin kissing passionately, the driver notices a woman standing nearby. He asks what she wants, but she suddenly lunges forward and bites the staff member on the neck. The virus spreads like wildfire through the area, with more and more people turning into flesh-hungry monsters. Among those still alive is Rael, an elderly man sprinting through the forest, desperately trying to escape 3 ravenous zombies pursuing him. His stamina is failing, but he pushes himself, refusing to become one of them. Elsewhere in the village, a young boy named Tikul, tears streaming down his face, prepares to leave his home. Before departing, he sets a horse free and grabs a nearby rifle lying next to a fresh grave, implying a recent loss. Meanwhile, Céline roams the empty village in her car, on the hunt for the undead. Frustrated by the eerie silence, she parks and turns the radio volume to maximum, using the noise to lure out any lurking infected. Soon, a figure stumbles from a house. She instantly grabs her machete, leaps out and attacks, splattering blood across her car's rear window. As she tries to calm her nerves after the brutal encounter, an infected young boy suddenly appears beside the car. Céline wastes no time and speeds away, leaving the boy behind. Deep in the forest, Vizina and Bonin spot a woman and a young girl standing quietly on a forest trail, and Vizina recognizes the girl as a schoolmate of his daughter. He steps out of the vehicle to approach, but Bonin warns him not to engage, advising they come back later to deal with the situation. As Vizina moves cautiously through the woods, he spots a boy hiding in a tree, but before he can get closer, he hears the haunting sound of the woman laughing behind him, and moments later, a scream echoes through the forest, followed by a gunshot. Vizina, now with a bite wound on his neck, uses his shotgun to kill the woman, but more zombies emerge from the underbrush, forcing him to retreat in desperation toward the truck. Elsewhere, Rael manages to take down one of the zombies chasing him. As 2 more charge at him, he stops running, tired and emotionally drained. But just before they reach him, Tikul shows up and fires his rifle, killing both creatures. Shaken, Rael reveals he couldn't bring himself to shoot earlier because the first zombie was his wife, and the 2 that Tikul just killed were his sons. Elsewhere, Céline stops at a home to check an outdoor oil tank for fuel. She is confronted by 2 elderly women, Pauline and Thérèse, who demand she strip at gunpoint to prove she hasn't been bitten. Céline complies, and after a quick inspection confirms she's clean. They take her inside and offer her a beer. Bonin later reaches a hunting lodge where another survivor lives. The man reveals he has tied up an infected woman named Tanya inside his cabin, who claims she was bitten by a dog, not a zombie. He advises Bonin to keep his truck quiet and sets off into the forest with a rifle. Inside the cabin, Bonin speaks to the restrained Tanya, explaining the stages of infection, first nausea, then skin discoloration, and finally, the uncontrollable urge to consume human flesh. When she mumbles through her gag, Bonin removes it, and she insists that she was bitten by a dog, not a zombie. But Bonin doesn't believe her and walks outside. Moments later, he hears the cabin owner scream and rushes back to free Tanya. As they prepare to escape, the infected cabin owner throws himself at the windshield. More zombies begin closing in, and as Bonin drives away, the infected man grabs Tanya from the back seat. Bonin yells at her to use the gun, and Tanya pumps the shotgun and shoots him in the head. Meanwhile, Rael confesses to Tikul that when his infected family began chasing him, all he could think about was turning around to tell them he loved them. Now, he believes that was a foolish move, but Tikul disagrees and shares his own painful memory. When the infection reached his home, he was forced to shoot his family. His mother, bitten on the neck, was devastated as she looked at the lifeless bodies of his father and sister. Trying to stay strong, Tikul aimed the gun at her and pulled the trigger. Elsewhere, Bonin and Tanya visit a farm. Inside the house, Tanya hears unsettling sounds echoing through the house. She stops at a closed door, slowly opens it, and finds a frightened little girl hiding. As Tanya gently cleans her up, the girl gradually begins to trust her. The next morning, Tanya steps outside to relieve herself and accidentally triggers a mouse trap. More traps start snapping, followed by a disturbing scream. She quickly lies low, scanning for threats. When she turns, She spots a zombie approaching. She lies still and tries to crawl away, but suddenly, the infected man appears right beside her. She screams and runs, but the zombie tackles her to the ground. Just before it bites her, Bonin rushes in, stabs it repeatedly, and saves her life. Bonin then decides to head to Therese's home to inform her about Vizina. Upon hearing the news, she slaps Bonin and collapses in grief. Pauline notes that while the number of infected had decreased recently, they seem to be growing again. She theorizes the infected had nothing to feed on outside the village, so they returned. Tanya suggests someone might have blocked the roads to stop them from reaching cities. Pauline recommends barricading the house and staying quiet to avoid drawing attention. Food is scarce, so they must ration carefully, though she tells Zoe to eat freely as she's still growing. Celine warns that the house is in the infected's path and suggests heading to a distant bunker for safety. The group begins preparations, gathering what food they can and leave the house. Eventually, they reach a river, and the group debates whether to cross a nearby farm or take a longer route along the river. Though it will be exhausting, Pauline agrees to follow the river, and they continue. Rial and Tikul observe the group from a distance, and after introductions, they join the group. They reach an abandoned house and find a note taped to the wall. It warns them not to enter the town. The writer, who signs as number 79, says they search Route 113 daily for survivors. Outside, Bonin finds a disturbing pile of bones beneath a tree. Suddenly, they hear screams. Real has turned into a zombie and bitten Tikul on the neck. Celine immediately runs over and kills Real to protect the group. They then discover another zombie has bitten Pauline. Therese, in shock, regains her composure and shoots the zombie twice. Pauline turns to Therese and gives her a solemn nod, an unspoken agreement that it's time. With trembling hands, Therese fights back her tears as she raises her shotgun and aims it at Pauline. As they make their way through the misty woods, they suddenly hear the faint cries of a baby echoing through the trees. They follow the sound and come across an infected woman cradling a baby doll. Suddenly, they realize they are not alone, and more zombies begin to slowly gather around them. Bonin grabs Zoe in his arms and runs, desperate to find somewhere safe for her. But Therese chooses to stand her ground and watches quietly as the others escape until the zombies swarm and take her. Celine also stays behind to face the infected. She swings her machete and slices through the growing herd, even as she suffers bite after bite. Bonin passes Zoe to Tanya and decides to draw the zombies away himself, risking his life to protect them. Tanya escapes with Zoe into a nearby tunnel. As they catch their breath, Tanya kisses Zoe on the forehead and leaves her safely hidden, heading back out to face whatever comes. Time passes. When the forest falls silent again, Zoe cautiously comes out of the tunnel until she reaches Route 113. There, she sits down on the roadside and waits. Before long, the sound of an engine grows louder. Out of the distance comes a Formula 1 car, speeding toward her. The car screeches to a stop, and a man wearing a racing jacket with the number 79 steps out and approaches Zoe. Then, without hesitation, he invites her into the car, and the two drive off, heading toward a safer place, leaving the nightmare behind. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and join the club.